कराए जाएं। सबूतों के साथ समझाया है, ये वीडियो बस लास्ट तक देख लेना। तो सबसे पहला सवाल ये आता है कि फेक केसेस करेंगे कौन लोग? कच यादव जैसे कुछ घटिया नेता जो खुलेआम ये धमकी दे रहे हैं कि जनरल समाज को फेक केसेस में फंसाया जाना चाहिए।
आपने कभी भी इस देश के 90% ओबीसी, एससी, एसटी, बहुसंख्यक जो आबादी है, जो माइनॉरिटी है, उसको आपने उसका हक नहीं दिया। आपको इस बेसिस पर फंसाया जाना चाहिए।
और ये अकेली नहीं है, इसका कमेंट सेक्शन चेक करो, ऐसी हजारों की फौज खड़ी है जो इस घटिया बयान को सच बता रही है और फेक केसेस करने को तैयार बैठी है। दूसरा सवाल ये उठता है कि आखिर फेक केस कराने से फायदा क्या है? देखो, ये यूजीसी कोड का जो प्रोविजन है, ये ऐसा बनाया गया है कि जो एससी एसटी के केस हैं, वो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द केस जो है वो एससी एसटी एक्ट तक जरूर पहुंचेंगे। और एससी एसटी एक्ट में एक अलग ही रैकेट चल रहा है। यहाँ पर हर छोटे से छोटे केस को रजिस्टर कराने पर सरकार से 85,000 रुपीज मिलते हैं। और कमाल की बात तो यह है कि इस मुकदमे का फैसला आने से पहले ही इसका 75% मिल जाता है। यानी भारत का कोई भी एससी एसटी कोई भी फर्जी मुकदमा करा के 63,000 ऑलमोस्ट कभी भी कमा सकता है। और कमाल की बात तो यह है कि ऐसे कई रैकेट हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पकड़े हैं जो एससी एसटी एक्ट के अंदर फर्जी केस कराकर करोड़ों और लाखों रुपए छाप रहे हैं। बट यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेजेस के अंदर जाति के नाम पे भेदभाव भी एक बड़ी समस्या है और इसीलिए हमारी ब्यूरोक्रेसी ने मिसयूज और डिस्क्रिमिनेशन दोनों को ध्यान में रखते हुए एक कमाल का सॉल्यूशन निकाला था, यूजीसी कोड। जहां 2025 के अंदर जब ये कोड तैयार हो रहे थे, इसके अंदर एक प्रोविजन था कि कोई भी झूठी कंप्लेंट करने पर फाइन या पनिशमेंट भी होगा। बट बेहद शर्म की बात है कि ये जानते हुए कि विष्णु तिवारी जैसा बंदा फर्जी एससी एसटी केस में 20 साल जेल रह के आया है, फाइनल अप्रूवल के लिए ये एक्ट हमारी सरकार तक पहुंचा, तो सब कुछ जानते हुए भी ये जो फर्जी केस करने पे फाइन और पनिशमेंट वाला प्रोविजन था, ये मोदी सरकार ने हटा दिया और पूरी जनरल कैटेगरी को अपनी गंदी राजनीति के लिए बलि का बकरा बना दिया। जय हिंद। मोदी जी खुद ही चाहते हैं कि यूजीसी के अंदर
It's the 11th century, and you're born in a caste of untouchables, outcasted from the society for reasons unknown to you. Your beliefs aren't different, and your actions, well, they are not decided by you since you are an impure blood. You have only one job, that is to obey the pure blood and get your dirty deeds done. You're barred from education and banned from fetching water in public wells. The curse on you is forever, and the leaders from the religion you practice are the one who imposed it on you. You look like everyone else, you speak the same language, and are barely distinguishable from the pure-blooded, yet subjected to the most unimaginable vile discrimination. But you aren't a Dalit, and this is not India. This is France, and it's no longer pagan. The Capetian dynasty is now expanding its rule under the ruler Hugh Capet, and the dynasty is now being influenced by the church. The lowermost boundary of France is still the Pyrenees mountain range, which is inhabited by French, except this time, these inhabitants aren't any ordinary people. These are Kagos, which look like Frenchmen but aren't considered one. Kagos are still a mystery till date, as their origins are unknown and the multiple theories that exist still can't explain why they were brutally discriminated, subjected to inhumane atrocities, and labeled untouchables. They weren't distinguishable from an average Frenchman. To explain their difference as compared to other marginalized groups in Europe like Jews, who were different because of their faith, Romani were different because of their looks, and Muslims were being the previous ruling class. But for Kagos, none of them was true. They were never a ruling class. They spoke perfect French and were also Christians like the French, and really devout one's cause despite the segregation at church, where they can only enter from a separate door hidden from public view, expected to sit at separate seats in the back to mark them as impure, and weren't even offered the Eucharist. The only time they were was when they can receive it from a long wooden spoon, maintaining enough distance for the priest to not taint himself with the impurity, but still they never stop visiting the church. The discrimination didn't even stop here, rather continued after their death, as they would only be buried in a separate cemetery for their class to ensure their exclusion in the afterlife. You can even find one in Pentayusere, a tiny village north of Pau. Though they looked no different, yet you could easily identify them whenever you see them on the street, as they were obliged to wear a special mark resembling a goose feet emblem on their chest, the same one that was marked on the church's separate door for them. They were forced to live in ghettos on the outskirts of towns and cities, and moreover, the kegetry they lived in weren't even theirs, as the law restricted them from owning any land. Even the certain animals they'd be allowed to rear were labeled impure. If they needed any supply or goods to buy, that was only possible on Mondays, as the market restricted them from entering in on any other day. In a surviving fragment from 1291, the hospital in Outrampo displays the sign displaying that they were forbidden from visiting it, so they don't spread their curse and disease to the other people. The law of the state restricted them from nearly every right, making them more susceptible to crime and violence. They mostly lived in tight-knit communities to protect themselves from the abuse and were only permitted to marry amongst themselves to keep the impurity contained. In Quimper, Brittany, a hand was cut off and pinned to the side of the church. This hand belonged to a Kego who was caught collecting water from the public fountain. Mary Pierre, a modern-day French woman who belongs to the bloodline of Kego, describes her ancestral living to be on the malarial side of the river, whose traces are still visible. She also added that when a Kego came into the town, they had to report their presence by shaking a rattle too. They were mostly forced to do the labor work, including masonry, carpentry, and other woodwork, which became a major part of their identity and even helped in defining the structures of most Pyrenean churches. Kegos honed their skills to the extreme ends, as this was the only way of survival, and also to make it easy for the next generation to craft, as any mistake would lead to grave punishment on them. The structures they'd aid in building would unequivocally forbid them from touching, and the churches which did allow them to visit wouldn't even hold them the equal right, and the rare ones who did try to hold it would eventually be shunned. There are multiple court cases which were held in the favor of equal rights for Kegos represented by normal people, as Kegos weren't allowed to challenge the law, and nearly all of these cases would either get completely abandoned, and the ones which did make it through wouldn't bring any difference to the mindset of people. Even their first official steps of acceptance came in 1690 case in Bern, where can finally be integrated with other people, but only after death, as this case only granted them right to the equal burial. I wasn't able to find any significant step at all before the 18th century which brought Kegos any relief from their discrimination. The discrimination itself was a strange mystery, with all the labels of being spiritually dangerous, morally impure, tainted, unworthy, and all the other bizarre terms which were written in the official records of monarch. There was not a single justification that can uphold even any one of the labels. The physical abnormalities they were described to have, like a webbed fingers like goose foot, were untrue, and a missing earlobe was also a myth. A myth so famous that even modern medical science named it as Kegos ear in their dictionary. More and more myths were spread about them to make sure their acceptance in society would get harder and harder, just like Jews and Nazis rule, and also to make it easier to justify the crime against them. The theories suggested for their origin seemed like a remix of every reasoning available for the other groups. They were described to be descendant of pagans, Jews or Muslims who converted to Catholicism but weren't granted the same status by church. There was also a theory telling that they might be lepers, carrying a skin disease named leprosy, which was also untrue. Despite their unwavering faith towards Catholicism, it took them over a millennia to accept them into the church. Today, Kegos are nearly forgotten, not just in France, but also from the history books and also by Kegos themselves. French Revolution was a major success for them, as they burned down all the records and official names after storming the capital. They lost their identity of Kegos so perfectly and integrated with the society that even Mary from 21st century wasn't able to trace back her bloodline without sweating through the research. Yet she still figured out herself to be a kego of past, not by an official record or label, rather by the treatment of public which continued even after the destroying of evidence and the abolishment of all rules by the Napoleon. Kegos still face the stereotypes and discrimination from normal people, and since they never owned any land, those ghettos was their primary place to live in. The people of Pyrenees are still aware of their past, and the scars are still visible in every church. Whether France denies their history or hides it, we don't know. But what do we know is the amount of money Europe, including France, spends on studying Dalits, while a meager fraction of that euro goes to the people of Pyrenees, the Kagos, and the discriminatory history towards them got buried under the sands of monstrosity, brutality, and utterly stupid justifications. Christianity is still a major religion in Europe, yet nowhere as close it comes to about acquainting their blood-tainted past around untouchability amongst their very own people. This video was about the timeline of Kegos, which was quite a mystery, but what was not the mystery was the timeline of Muhyiddin Chishti in Ajmer, which you can see by tapping here, and it's not what you might expect.
ब्राह्मणों भारत छोड़ो, अपर कास्ट अशराफ मुस्लिम भारत छोड़ो। वे तू पागल है, क्या बोल रहा है तू यार? क्यों सर? अगर ब्राह्मण भारत छोड़ रहे हैं तो ये लोग तो 700 साल तक रूलिंग क्लास थे भारत में, इनको नहीं जाना चाहिए? ये क्या हो गया सर को यार, कुछ बोल क्यों नहीं रहे? वो सर की जब फटती है ना तो ऐसी शक्ल बनाते हैं।